Well, hello everyone, welcome to Season 2, Round 2 of my F1 2012 career mode. I am Love Spuds, and today we are at Sepang Malaysia Circuit. Sepang International Circuit, I think it's called. And as you can see, I made it into Q3. But currently I am sitting in 10th, and my objective is to get up to 6th place. I have 4.5 minutes to do that in, so hopefully this lap will be good enough to beat the 6th place time, whatever that might be. If I can get as close to button as possible, that would be even better. Currently I'm 6/10 up on Button's time, so well, in that first sector I'm usually always up on the AI, and then across sectors 2 and 3 I lose the time. Especially I'm going to go off wide like that and the stupid game decides it will stop you from putting the power down if you go too far off the track. So that cost me a little bit of time. I'm still 2/10 up though, which is good, but this is sector 3, and it is a bit of an arse, this sector, especially these tricky corners that you have to do your braking spot on and get the apex. It's a very tough corner to get spot on. As you can see, I nearly slid out there, but just held it on. As you can see, I've hemorrhaged a bit of time in places over the lap, so that's probably cost me a couple of places, but let's see where we end up as we go across the start finish line. 5th, so it ends up in 5th, just 1 place down on Michael Schumacher. That looks like it's about 0.05 of a second slower than Michael Schumacher. If I didn't make a couple of mistakes, I could have easily made up that time. 2 McLarens on the front row, Alonso in 3rd, Schumacher, Spuds and Kobayashi behind. Let's see what we can do. Let's try and take our teammate first of all. Got a really good start compared to Schumi. Shot ahead of him now. I can squeeze out a bit of curves and try and avoid everyone in this first corner. Concertina effect bunch up thing, whatever you want to call it. But coming around the outside of Hamilton, giving me the inside line on this long sweeping bend, not bed. I'm thinking about bed. Move up the inside of Alonso, just so I didn't actually go into the back of him. So that certainly helped. Managed to get up to 2nd now. Hamilton has also got past Alonso, and I didn't quite get the line right in that corner, so I lost a bit of ground here. Hamilton having a quick look, but he's not going to make a move anytime soon, I don't think. Oh, nearly a bit too much curb on there, made me nearly spin out, but I held it on just enough. Obviously my objective is to finish first. They got high expectations of me for some reason, but surely they have seen me in Williams last season. Yeah, the way I've just was so close to getting a win but never happened, and unless I catch Button, today could be the same result. I'm sorry to say, not much actually does happen in this race. The next bit of action will probably be from Hamilton. I expect he won't give up without a fight anytime soon. And then there's the pit stops. So I will forgive you if you want to skip ahead a couple of laps if you get bored. I don't mind at all. After all I do is waffle on. But yeah, lap 2 of 14 is still a long way to go. A long way to go in the championship as well. Still got another 18 races after this one.
We have a slight lead over Hamilton.
Hamilton's Oh god, excuse me. Yawning a bit there. Yeah, Hamilton is about a second behind. Got to be so careful not to make a mistake because the field is a little bit bunched up behind me. It's a bit of a spud train going on here. Yeah, Hamilton is within the second now. The next lap, the DRS will be activated and we could be in danger zone. Oh, this doesn't look good. I've locked up my front right tyre. Just held it on there. Just flicking up to Rich, maybe to create a gap just before Hamilton decides he's going to use his DRS on the next lap. I don't think it's active this lap in this bit because I'm in a DRS zone now. Yeah, it can't be because DRS is enabled as soon as you go across the start-finish line. So technically, he shouldn't have DRS on me. At least I hope that's the case. I mean, it does look like that because he hasn't gone past me, that's for sure. And McLaren's Constructors Champions from last season, so their car is going to be quite a bit better than mine, considering Mercedes finished 6th last season. So I don't hold much hope of keeping up with these McLarens in the first few races. Hopefully, the development path of this Mercedes will be better than the real life one because, well, it doesn't actually help for a start that Michael Schumacher chose the development path in this game, because I got an email the other day when I played this and it said Schumacher has chosen the cautious path to research and development, which means I won't get as many upgrades, but when we do they should be more reliable, which could be a bit of a curse if I'm to keep up with this lot. Oh, hang on a minute, bit of a moment there. Could have took him out there if I didn't have a little bit of corrective steering. But I did lose a place, unfortunately. Now I have to get it back. But I should be in DRS zone. I think that was a detection line. Either that or this is a detection line. But this is definitely the activation line. And we have DRS on him. He got past me too early for him to have the DRS. So we'll take full advantage of that. Thank you very much. Gone a bit wide on the first corner, but that's nothing to worry about. I expect Hamilton's got a bit of trouble from behind anyway, to worry about me too much. So back to where we were. Although Buttons decided to drive off and leave me to it. But hey ho, never mind. Still 10 laps to go, pretty much, roundabouts. So still plenty of time to catch up, and we've got to get through the pit stops yet. Hopefully you won't have too big a gap when we get there. But yeah, anyway. I know it's been a while since I last put up the F1 video, but I think between then and now, just can't remember when I actually did upload the last one. But I did. I upgraded my computer and it was successful. I cloned my hard drive, got all my data back up exactly where it should be. Nothing's missing. Everything works fine. So I'm really pleased about that. The new processor, the new i7 processor, doubled my RAM to 16 gigabytes and got a whole lot more storage space, and plus a new motherboard as well. All this means that instead of having to sit around for 2 hours waiting for one half-an-hour video to render, it now renders in about 50 minutes. It's cut the times in half, so I am really pleased with how that's gone. And hopefully I can get more videos done a bit quicker. even if my internet is still as rubbish as it's ever gonna be out in the middle of nowhere, at least I'm gonna have the videos to upload when I get the chance. So hopefully over the coming months there should be a bit more in the way of slightly more regular content. I think the only thing stopping me now is
3+ gap to the car behind. 3+.
the internet connection. It could drop because we're prone to power cuts out here because there's only one line running across the countryside, so sometimes the internet can get cut off, sometimes the power can get cut off. That's the main problem out here. The internet is really slow, so it takes about 6 hours for these things to upload, and therefore if something goes wrong in the upload, I don't usually have a lot of time to sort it out, and I sleep when these video uploads, so by the time I wake up and find something's gone wrong, I don't have time to upload it again. So it has to roll on to the next day where I can attempt to do it again. So that's the only problem. If I had a proper good internet connection, maybe I could get up these videos a bit more often. But as I've just said, the internet gets in the way, and life gets in the way as well. I've got my job, I've got my girlfriend, and we got our own place, so we got things to do, unfortunately. I wish I got into this YouTube thing a bit earlier, to be honest. Could have made something out of it, but never mind. I love making videos, and that's how it's just going to be. I hope you guys don't mind the erratic uploads too much. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about F1, as I have to go into the pits this lap. Yeah, trouble with the Mercedes, the rear, well, not just the rear tyres, but the tyres just go off quicker. They really do go off. They have definitely put that into the game, because I am having a lot of trouble, as you will see over the next couple of races. I'm having a lot of trouble keeping up with people because my tyres are going off quicker. Now, some of that can be remedied with a setup change, and I haven't been using setups really. I've been using the quick setups because I don't want to be too fast. I want to be around the same pace as the AI, which kind of works most of the time. And a couple of races that I've done so far, I've been off the pace for some reason. But still, shit happens. 3-second pit stop, that's not too bad. Not bad at all, actually. It's going to come out in 7th. Oh yes, watch this. Watch me slide across. Oh, that could have been so bad.
No more scheduled pit stops, so look after your tyres.
Good job Senna had his wits about him, because that could have ended in a penalty for me, probably. Or a penalty for him, I don't know. But luckily we didn't touch, and we can carry on. But I seriously wasn't expecting my tyres to have no grip coming out of there. I mean, I know cold tyres have less grip, but I wasn't expecting to slide out like that across his path. But never mind. But yeah, rules and regulations for next year. There's a couple of minor changes, but they're quite important ones. The tyres for next year are 2 kilos heavier, which doesn't mean a lot in the grand scheme of things, really. I mean, it's going to give the designers a little bit of a headache, maybe, but weight allowance, it's not their biggest concern. I mean, there is a minimum weight they have to be, and they've just added the 2 kilos on top of that anyway, so that's not a big deal. The step noses, the car can have what is called a vanity panel, to make it a little bit smoother, which I'm quite happy about because those steps noses are very ugly, if I'm honest. So that's a good thing. Couple of other things: front wing tests, crash tests, survival cell tests. All things to make it safer, you know, just to be more stringent. And then the biggest one, I think, in terms of what Joe Public are interested in, is the changes to the DRS. The double DRS system that Mercedes are currently using, that will be illegal next year. I think there are some other double DRS systems out there which other teams are using, which should be legal as long as they're not using it for other purposes. It can only be a passive system. There's only the passive systems that are legal. If you want to read more on that, you'll have to search for that on Google yourself, because it's too complex for me to explain at this moment, seeing as I am knackered, just coming from work. But the DRS, the main thing about the usage of DRS is that it's now limited to the DRS zones on the track in all sessions, where previously it could be used anywhere during free practice and qualifying. It is now just restricted to the DRS zones on the track, which I am perfectly fine with. I am fine with that, because it is a pain in the ass to use that in the game, yet alone have them using it in real life. I mean, I know it's a safety element, but yeah, it's kind of annoying having to flick that thing open every time you go and come out of a corner. I mean, I'm old school. I've come from the old games where there was no such thing as DRS or KERS. KERS I can live with. KERS is fine for me, but the bloody DRS, especially when you forget about it occasionally and you go into a corner and you end up doing stupid spins across, or losing control as you come out of a corner, that's kind of annoying. So I'm not really bothered about that.
Between you and the car behind is 3 seconds.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to see how it affects qualifying in the new season, because obviously Mercedes had a big advantage in the early part of the season with their double DRS, and obviously they had a higher top speed in a place like China where Nico Rosberg won. So we'll see what the rule changes mean for qualifying and where the cars are. I assume the normal teams will be at the front as they usually are. I don't suppose there'll be much change down the order, but maybe you'll see something different as I mess up there. Might see one or two surprises. I'm interested to see who's going to fill in Force India's 2 race seats that are available. There's only 3 seats left as far as I know. That's the 2 at Force India and the 1 at Caterham. We don't know who's going to be joining Charles Peake at Caterham yet. I have no idea who it could be. Force India still haven't announced their 2 drivers yet. But yeah, I wouldn't like to say who might be in there, because I have no inkling really of who it's going to be. I've seen a lot of Jules Bianchi recently, that's for sure. He's been popping up on a number of news feeds. He won a karting race held by Felipe Massa that he holds every year or so, I think it is.
seeing the car behind.
for a load of F1 drivers.
He's trying to close the gap.
I think it's probably a charity thing. I mean, it wouldn't be anything else, surely, because I've never heard of it. Unfortunately, I didn't follow F1 as much as I should have last year. But for 2012, I followed it from start to finish properly, like a proper fan should do. But never mind. I hope Paul di Resta gets in the seat as well, because he deserves at least one more go at finding a better race seat. But if he can't pull it off next year, then yeah, I should say we let him go for a while, because you can't keep holding onto a race seat forever. You got to prove yourself, haven't you? That's just how F1 works. Plus you got to have a sponsorship as well. So if no one's backing you, you can't really get a decent seat unless you're extremely talented.
There's a gap of 3 seconds between you and the car behind. See if you can increase the gap.
I mean, someone like Kobayashi, he has hardly got any backing whatsoever, and which is why he's struggling for funding as well. I wouldn't say it's the main reason he lost his seat at Sauber, but I think it was one of the contributing factors. You know, the way he had to give way for Esteban Gutierrez, the young lad coming up from the lower formula. Let's see if that was a good move for Sauber. I suppose it was a very profitable move, considering they'll probably get to keep all the Mexican sponsors they had, like the tequila sponsor, I think it was, that was there when Perez was driving for the team. But yeah, I don't know why I keep waffling on all the time, but already it's lap 12. I hadn't even noticed. To be honest, I have been watching. Don't worry, I have seen what's going on, but I did say nothing much was actually happening in this race, so you have to forgive me for that one. Unfortunately, Button is still 5 seconds up the road. He's managed the gap nicely. I mean, the gap hasn't changed for the last few laps, I don't think. Hamilton is 3.7 seconds behind, so that's comfortable for now. But you know, this last couple of laps I do get a bit twitchy. I just want to keep it on the road and get the result. Second place is not too shabby, basically. I mean, I know I could have got up there and won if I could drive better, but it's not to be, you know. There's not a lot you can do about it. You just take the 18 points and you know, keep battling. It's a long old championship. It's 20 races. This is only round 2, so it's a long way to go. And they can't be finishing first all the time, surely.
Okay, you're about 6 seconds away
Oh,
from the next
corner
car.
cut in.
Keep pushing and hopefully it will start to decrease.
Putting away a bit from Hamilton, but I think that's the fact that I always pull away from him in the first sector. It's the second and third sectors that I lose the time. But in that sense, I'm sort of keeping the gap constant. I pull away in the first sector and they claw it back again in the last 2 sectors. So the gap sort of remains constant. So unfortunately I'm not catching up to anyone, but I'm also not being caught up as well. And yes, to answer any questions there, that was rain I just saw. Maybe they get affected by the rain, you don't know. But the rain's come just a bit too late, because it says There's only one more lap to go, and it is not going to get wet enough for anyone to slide off the circuit. At least you hope not, anyway. Especially not for my sake as well, especially the way I'm driving in the wet at the moment. So Button has increased the gap. He's flying away now. I think I've set my new best lap. I think the 139. 139.8. But the main thing is Hamilton's not going to catch me up, so it looks like this second position is in the bag at the moment. 22 cars in the field. Looks like 2 people have retired. Don't know why, don't know who. Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. As we go around these corners for the final time, I'm going to put one big middle finger up to the sky and say, ah, you're not gonna make me spin off the track today, you bastard rain. At least I bloody hope not. I really hate the rain with a vengeance. Especially the way it quickly turns. It doesn't, oh dear, look at that. Get a bit messy in the final 3 corners. I just hate the way the game just turns it on and off. Turns the grip on 1 minute and turns the grip off another minute. It doesn't gradually happen like it should do. But oh well. Come around the final corner now. Still time to mess it up, of course. But at least I had enough of a gap to do that. Jensen Button has won the race. I've come in second. Obviously not celebrating because my objective was to finish first. Schumacher finished down in 8th. Hamilton was 3rd. So an all British podium. Some lovely sight to see. Shame I'm not on the top step. But it will happen. It will happen one day. I hope so. I can't go 2 seasons without a victory, surely. But still. Anyway. No real surprises there. Apart from the Red Bulls actually finishing at the lower end of the top 10. They're sort of, if they're not careful, they're going to become a midfield team. Nothing much. Caterham's finishing high. Well, high for them. Kovalainen finished 14th for Caterham. De La Rosa and Sergio Perez did not finish. Okay, there we go. Not a great day for Schumi. Not bad for me. Fernando Alonso is actually leading the Drivers' Championship with 37 points. I am following closely behind on 4 points. The 2 McLarens behind me, and Schumacher behind the McLarens. So it's looking good for Mercedes power, apart from that Ferrari at the top there. It's all good. But yeah, not too much going on there. I mean, after all, it's only the first 2 rounds. There isn't going to be a lot going on. But it's looking good for the Spuds so far. Looking quite good for the team as well, as Mercedes are only 2 points behind Ferrari. McLaren Mercedes are actually only 3 points behind us. So it's going to be tight at the top this year, it looks like, if things continue as they are. Caterham moved up to 8th. Toro Rosso Force India joining the back markers. And there's my little celebration with JB in the background and Lewis as well. So all that remains me to say is goodbye and take care, guys. I will see you in China. See you then.